Peace to the family. Hope you can hear me. I'm gonna wait a few seconds to get people in here with the notification. I'm gonna try to find some AI music to put in, and let's wait a few seconds. Let me just great. So Smash Rockwell today was having a presentation on Kush and the uh, Double Kingdom, and I wanted to add some points, but he had to go, and I certainly understand why he had to leave. So, in the meantime, between while he gets back to it, I want to try to educate the community on some additional points, some of the things that I was thinking about while he was doing the presentation. So, if you're in, let me know so I can uh, say hello and get some other people in. So if you're in, uh, say hello. So while we're waiting, the presentation is going to be on when did the so-called ancient Egyptians, and I say so-called because Egypt is a Greek name, but the terminology ancient Egyptians knew about Kush, um, and then we'll start talking about uh, the double kingdom a little bit and some other points that I wanted to add. So please come in, Brother La. How you doing? Good afternoon to you, Brother La. I was going to go to the museum today to see a new exhibition at the Met on gods and goddesses of ancient Egypt. I went there. Mika, hello. How you doing, sis? So I went to the museum yesterday, but it was the opening of the exhibition, and unfortunately I'm not a member, so I could not get into the exhibition. So I went to the I went to the American Museum of Natural History, and I haven't done a show about the American Museum of Natural History in a long time. And I wanted to weigh in on the upcoming debate between Dr. Inky and Uncle Keck, and I got some great footage. I really got some great footage. So I'm hoping that people from Smash's show join my show while I try to be monetized. And for me, monetization is really not for a lot of money. It's just that I've been on YouTube for 15 years. I was monetized, but then they changed their regulations and they kicked me off. And then for the other time period, uh, I, you know, uh, worked on other people's channels giving content for many years. I'm talking about for 9 8 9 years. And so my channel, I never put enough content on my channel to be monetized. So now I have to do shows to get up to the 4,000 um, uh, hours that they now require. And I'll get there. I get there. I spend enough time on YouTube anyway, but I just don't spend enough time on my page. And there you go. All righty. So let me just check, see who's how many people's in. So yeah. So tomorrow I'll probably go back to the Met uh, and bring you back some information about this new exhibition that they're having, since they want to focus on gods and goddesses. Mika says, Christopher Withers, my brother. So I got somebody on that I really, really want to talk to. Yes, Sister Mika, I have to build up my own channel, right? I spend enough time on other channels, so I have to kind of like focus on myself. Because if I don't focus on myself, some people might give me a kind mention, but my work is my work, and I do this really, really well. So with that said, so let's start this thing because Christopher Wizards is busy, and y'all don't know Christopher Wizards. He pops up on the Europeans when they are doing the Meta Nature, and he has a lot to say. He participates on our channels, but Christopher Wizards, he gets it. He actually gets it in. I watched him. He's cold, ice cold, but he slides in into their particularly one channel. I forgot the name of it. Christopher Withers could put it on, but he pops in as they have scholars that, believe it or not, read Greek, read various forms of meta nature, like the hieratic. Uh, they read the monumental script, right? And they have lots of textual sources. And my brother Christopher Wizards, he pops in. So I got to give him his due, right? And he helps him out, right? So let's start here. And I'm probably not going to be on that long, but I'm going to be on long enough. I think I'm going to be on for like an hour, and then it turns to 3 hours. And yeah, so let me go share my screen so I won't waste any time. Okay, so let's share my screen, especially not waste Christopher Wizard's time. I don't want to do that at all. So let me share my screen. Okay, so great. And make this big. Great, and make this bigger. Okay, so I want to add some points to what Smash Rockwell was talking to help you all understand what some of the things that he was saying and some of the things that I am going to say. Let's see. Right. Here's Christopher Wizards. Lady Egyptian group, Demotic. Yeah. So I don't know, Christopher Wizards, what was the title of the show that you were on? But yeah, so that's what it's called, Lady Egyptian group, Demotic, right? I don't know what the web page is, but if that's the name of the web page, that's fine. Okay, so and I'm going to put in the let's see if I can do it. I'm going to put in the uh, the chat so that you could pop in if anybody wants to. Um, okay, so where is the invite guest? Here it goes. So here it is. Copy. All right. Okay. So all of that is done, and so let's begin. Um, what I'm going to start is I'm going to talk about uh, what the ancient Egyptians called uh, the people besides Nahes, right? Um, During the period that we're talking about, which is really the ending of the first intermediate period to Mentuhotep, and then beyond. And what I want to say to you all is that lots of times what we're reading is ancient Egyptian propaganda, meaning they're telling a story, and they themselves are replacing terminology and names or using Egyptian names to describe areas that are in an indigenous language that's often is not actually recorded, right? And so sometimes when we're looking at this, we're looking at only the ancient Egyptian point of view, right? So when we hear terms like Hesi, that's the ancient Egyptian, the so-called ancient Egyptian view. That's not necessarily the truth. It's just what we have recorded. So the first thing I want to do is I want to talk about, and this includes the areas that we were talking about. So when the 25th dynasty kings took over and invaded uh, Egypt, right? Because that's in fact what they did. They had their own reasons to invade. Uh, their belief system, religious point of view, is that Tawi, Kemet, uh, whatever we want to call it, Tameri, was corrupted, and they felt that that ultimately is it'd be better for them to do a preemptive kind of strike, because it wasn't just these groups of people here. Um, it was other groups of people, particularly the Assyrians, were trying to make Egyptians vassals, right? They were trying to make Egyptians vassals. And so their political fear would be that this would become territories of a foreign group. And then ultimately, if they did nothing, it would uh, follow. And we know that this is true because we have seen ultimately uh, the, the the later groups, the Greeks and the Romans, and then ultimately the Berber groups that were Arabized, that they in fact did exactly what the Nubians feared. And then the Arab groups created something called the Bach Treaty, where at first, uh, it was just straight invasion. They got beat back. Then they created a treaty, a treaty of tribute, and the tribute were slaves. And so that was one of Dr. John Henry Clark's late research ideas as his life was actually ending. And so he asked us to explore that, help him, but the research about the Bach Treaty was very, very limited, and most of the new material came after his life. So the groups of people um, below Aswan, these groups of people, which you might want to call them the Nehes, right? But there are other terms, and we're going to explore those other terms, right? They, these groups below here, all the way down here. So this is very, very much alive. This polity is very much alive during the time of what we know the Nile Valley. So I want you to take off your Nile Valley crowns and all of that stuff that you wear, and all of the accoutrements and all of that stuff that you wear, and look at other things that's happening in Africa. So I'm glad that Smash began here again talking about Nubia. So this group of people over here, these groups of people over here, they will move uh, down the Nile, right? And they will correct some things. And I'll bring out some text to show you. Okay, so this is where we are. Now, when this period up here, where this red line, in Egyptian kind of thinking, this is what you call Tawi civilization. Tawi, right? The two lands. and then Shmaitawi, right? And then other terms that are not necessarily, how can I say, uh, ge- real destinations, geopolitical destinations. Like, for example, Kemet is a kind of title like Tameri, right? Where is Kemet? Well, some people say that Kemet is the whole area, right? And then, but we know that that's not the truth, because in the earlier periods, we have, uh, when using Kemet itself, we have Kemet as particular places. So, and they could be estates or farmlands or some type of sacred uh, destination, right? Some donation that a king created, some farmland, an estate where he puts particular officials, and I think that we find that when we read the text of um, the instructions of Kedi, right? We find that Kedi has a kemet, but his kemet has nothing to do maybe with another real place that I proposed, and I wasn't making it up, which is Aya Kemet, which was created by an earlier king in the fourth dynasty called Seneferu. And he created this place called Aya Kemet that was in this area right here. Blow this up, right? And but later we get what you call symbolic chemists. Uh, why? Because we can't pinpoint exactly when Kedi was talking about King Kedi of the ninth and tenth dynasty. That Kedi, we don't know exactly where that Kemet was. What we have is the in the same time period we have the instructions to Merikari, Kedi's instructions to Merikari, and we have the eloquent peasant. We have that to talk about, and that introduces a place name that we call Kemet. Okay, so I'm just giving you that, and then, but we have a real place down here um, called Iakemet, and I believe that that's transformed. Who am I having a discussion with, or well, I introduced it and I had some pushback, but I'm writing, so it's just pushback. I know the areas like Deir El Gabrari, and I know what was going on there because I have read. And so the pushback is pushback, and I could take that, but I'm not wrong. So let's get to this point over here where we are. Okay. So this map, you can find it. You can find this map of the Double Kingdom here, and I just wanted to show this again because on the side of it is shows you how expansive the time period of the 25th dynasty of the control that um, the rulers of the Napata rulers, if you want to call them, if you want to call them the black pharaohs, if you want to call them the Nubian pharaohs, whatever you want to call it, they had the largest expanse of a kingdom in the history of the world, right? So I wanted to show that. But the map, you can find it here. AfricanHistoryExtra.com, or you could just search the legacy of Kush empires, right? In global, and that should come up. And you will get that map. Okay, so what is my points? The political geography of ancient Kush and Lower Nubia gave rise to a complex system of titles reflecting both Egyptian colonial policy and local authority structures. Jeremy Pope. Studying the hieroglyphic and meroitic designations offer valuable insight into pre Christian Nubian statecraft and cross-cultural interaction. The Kushite in double royal titles. This is important because um, we get a sense of what the ancient Egyptians was calling these people until the term Kush was created. Now, when we think of Kush, Kish, or however you, if you, from the transliterations, because we don't know really how it sounds, first is we have to ask ourselves: is this an indigenous word for the those groups of people, right? And the answer is probably no. It's probably an Egyptian, another African group, their designation of these groups of people, right? So the pharaohs of the 25th dynasty adopted a dual titulary. We're talking about like Taharka, really, but it could be earlier, reflecting the authority in both Egypt and Kush. Egyptian sources most commonly employ Nosu in Kes. So they normally employ King of Kush. See it right there? Nosu and Kish. King of Kush. And they employ Nosud Bidi. So they have two titles to Harker, right? Has two titles. He is the Nosud in Kish, and he is the Nosud Bidi, meaning he's controller of the two lands, right? The north and south, Tawi, but he's also the king of Kush. So that we see some type of united politic. Great. Okay. But in parallel, the indigenous Kushite and later Meroic title for the king is Kor or Ko. And for them, that means king. So when they're talking in their text, it's Kor. So that's why, but the Egyptians, the ancient Egyptians, even Taharka in them, uh, they have a second kind of writing system, right? That's not necessarily employed in the monumental or the textual sections, but we actually do see it in there in the other side of the southern part of the Double Kingdom. So they they have a Meroic formula which is Cor Nobo, Lo, meaning this one, it is the Noba king, right? This word Nubian kind of fades and they call it noble in their language, right? The noble. And so now we have another group of Africans practicing some type of sovereignty, and they're calling themselves noble, but Europeans, classical European Egyptologists will call them Nehes, well, they will call them Nubians, but they're calling themselves the Noba king. That's who they're calling them, right? Themselves. Titles for chiefs. So the question is, um, what are some of the titles prior to calling them Kush, right? We see a title called Wer Wawat, the Great One. Wer, Great, Wawat, Chief of Wawat. That's the most widely attested Egyptian title for a Wawat chief. So before it was Kush, we would see terms like Wer Wawat. Then it is Hek Wawat, and he would be the ruler or the lord of Wawat, right? Um, and we would see that term. Then we would see Heri Tip Wawat, all of these words. This one is used for administrative leaders of higher rank, right? Where tip is like the president, right? Heri, her tip, like overlord, right? Her tip is like the overlord of, and well, but we could say chief, the overlord of Wawat. And then we see this title called um, Hot great, right? We see Heku, Heka, Heku, right? Nu Wawat. So we see Heku is a ruler, Hat is foremost of the rulers of Wawat, right? Which could be simplified again to just chief of the rulers of Wawat, right? So now this one is a little bit more nuanced, a little bit more expansive, because here there is someone who is a ruler of rulers, right? The chief. So there, so it's a polity, it's a confederation, and then we see this title that the person is a ruler or the chief, the top, the head of all the rulers, that they've come together and made him the president. We see another title called Where Im Hasat, where he is the chief, right? Kasat, uh, where he is the chief of this foreign land. If you're reading the Medu Neter, and if this is Kasat, meaning foreign, even though they're not saying Nubia, it's he's the chief of the Kasat, of the foreign, of the ruler, of the rulers. And then we see another title called Where Hasat, great one of Nubia, but when in Kasat, but when they're using this word, they're referring to Nubia specific. Any questions? Anybody want to say anything about this? About the titles? So I'm adding the titles to help you that they knew of these polity of rulers, but they had not yet called them Kish. And I'm talking from the intermediate period up until the point where they do call them Kish. Anybody has anything to say? Interesting. Anybody has anything to add? Right? Um, Waiting. Okay. So, and anybody wants to hit the stream? Okay. It's a regular day in Brother Reggie's channel. No, uh, how can I say, no community. Okay. So these titles occur in administrative, commemorative, and mortuary contexts for I would say the first intermediate period to the Middle Kingdom throughout the New Kingdom. Okay. Let's just a little discussion on this. So the coexistence and alternation of Egyptian and Kushite titulary uh, demonstrate the duality of the authority in the double kingdom. This is later when of course, the uh, so-called Black Pharaohs reigned, Taharka. Pharaohs such as Taharka strategically deployed both the full pharaonic titulary and indigenous terms such as core to communicate legitimacy across diverse subject populations. Local chieftain titles reveal a nuanced administrative ecology in Lower Nubia, confirming Egypt's reliance on indigenous elites to maintain influence. Hits, my brother Hits, how you doing, good brother? At least somebody put something in the chat. Peace to you, Hits. Great. So what classical Egyptologists do is always separate uh, what they call Tawi civilization to create some type of. Sometimes they do it on purpose. Sometimes they just do it because that's what people know. And but they do differently in some of their publications. But they've always separated uh, the North and the South because that's just how they think. The North and the South, and they always want to try to keep Egypt pure, right? And certainly, the colonial scholars wanted to, in fact, make Egypt pure, pure white, pure, and try to make it non-African. Later scholars, and you have lots of great scholars like Dr. Bruce Williams, Christopher, sorry, uh, Dr. Clorer, Christina Clorer. You have um, several other scholars that actually, even Tyson Smith, uh, and lots of new generation scholars, Stan Hendricks, um, Jeremy Pope, um, and lots of African scholars, particularly now in those particular areas, Nur, the Dinka. uh, there's a kind of a new section which is kind of called nubiologist, right? Where they are concerned themselves not what the Egyptians say, but they'll bring that in as some type of reference, but they are really concerning themselves in these particular areas around Dongala uh, and Jebel Barkal, and so you have Dr. Ashby, who is one of the greats in this area, Dr. Ashby. Um, you have um, and I shouldn't be forgetting his name. It's just that I wasn't. That's just how my mind works when I'm focused on something. But I'll get his name. But you could put it in. He wrote um, the Last Pharaohs. Um, Dr. Salim Faraji's great work uh, on the great on the last pharaoh um, in Dongala, right? Let me see. Shesmu Patar, peace to you. What does he say over here? I will leave this last thing that I've always known: the South is older. Um, I don't know when people say that the South is older. Um, um, of course, the South is older because humanity started in the South and then went to Southern Africa. If humanity wasn't, Homo sapiens weren't born there. But but we have to think about Morocco when you talk about early humans, and you have to talk about Ethiopia when you talk about early humans. I think that people should put in nuances. I think that Africa wasn't as separate as people make them. People traveled. Um, I have a problem sometimes knowing the North and the South because humanity gathered in places where the climate was uh, good for civilizations. And so um, while we have Southern Africa and we have early humanity, we certainly have the Green Sahara, which is in the north. So the Green Sahara culture, until it changed and began to dry out and went back down south, uh, gave a lot of culture to the Southerners, right? So many of the things that you think comes from the South, right, actually, or aspects of the Green Sahara and them going into the Western Desert and then making themselves to the Nile. So you can argue that, but then when you start unpacking and adding other information, you will find that yes, there's people all over Africa, but what is the cultures that made Nile Valley civilization and then also contributed to Nubian civilization? And you will find, for example, if you look at the cattle culture and you look at Not the Playa, you will find the cattle stone there. You will find that there. If you look at North Africa, You will see the cave art. You will see the portable art, right? And then there is a period of cattle culture where the area, yes, the area in the south is king for a while with cattle, but you will see cattle culture ideas coming in from the Western Desert. And then some of the netchers that you know, like Neath, right? Ha, these netchers come from the Western Desert. Um, Ram gods come from the Western Desert. And then in the southern, yes, you might see men and Canoon, right? And then you will see portable art or artifacts of natures or ideas, right? So I wouldn't do this north and south thing. I would look at periods, and I, and then I would traverse a particular time periods instead of lumping them all together. The the so-called Nahesi Nubian populations, uh, they admixed or connected with uh, Temehu populations, which sometimes they wrongly called the Libyan populations uh, in the Western Desert. And so you have those populations, and you have the other populations, the Checheno populations, right? You have all of these populations, and they're trading, they're meeting each other, they're uh, stealing cattle from each other. They're living together, and but they're distinct populations that admix. So a lot of times when we think that we see the white crown, and we think that was just completely born in the South, that may not be true. Uh, it certainly may not be true, um, because you have interfaces between other groups of people. So if you want to talk about that, well, we could talk about that, right? So I would not. I would only say the South is older because we were either Homo sapiens was born in an earlier period in the Rift Valley, possibly in Southern Africa. Um, but and then they went downstream, always searching for food when they are hunters and gatherers, searching for food and explore the type of places. So I wanted to say that. Okay, so now we know that there are titles that exist, where sometimes we may be talking about uh, Kush, but really not directly Kush. And then as the so-called Egyptians stumble on these groups of people, they pretty much create their own terminology for their own purposes, for their own people to kind of separate themselves from these groups of people, right? And these groups of people are mad because the Egyptian kings come in and create borders. And they're like, that's not, no, you can't create a border. And the Egyptians say, yeah, we're going to create borders. We're going to create, matter of fact, we're not only going to create borders, later we're going to create forts along these borders, right? And we're going to, and so it's kind of sometimes one sided because of writing, but that's all we really have because we don't know the language of the people of the Nahes people. They were not speaking Egyptian language. They were speaking their own language. So that's when I go back up to this area over here where we see this indigenous term core, which they call king. And then we see a formula of them calling themselves the Noba, right? So there you go. Alrighty. So with that said, now I want to. What's up, Smash Rockwell? How you doing? So what I did was introduce some of the terms before they knew Kush that they called Kush, or the people, besides Naheshi. And then you've done on your show all of the different Naheshi groups uh, in another number of shows. So all of this is happening before they recognize some type of confederation that they will call Kish or Kush. So let me just go through this. So let me pull this up. So let people know where we at. Okay, so let's pull this up. So um, where we at? Nope, it's not there. It's here. Okay, great. So okay, so we have a stele of Ijuju Iker. Ijuju Iker. He's the foremost one of the chiefs of Wawet. So this is really, really something that goes under the radar. So this stele is under Wa'ank Intef II, right? So we're in the intermediate period, and then it says, or they say the Middle Kingdom, but the 11th dynasty is early 11th dynasty. So we do it the dynasties. So this guy, so among the discoveries recently in the Middle Kingdom Royal Necropolis at the South Abdu is a surprising find of a biographical stela belonging to a man named Juju Iker. Although it lacks a preserved royal name, this 11th dynasty stela can be dated throughout. Let's see if I can blow it up. Yeah, thanks. Dated through a variety of evidence in the reign of Wa'ank and Tef II, alongside a set of Egyptian courtly titles. Ijuju Iker bore the primary title Hat Heko Nu Wawet. He is the foremost of the chiefs of Wawet. Juju Iker, I'm just going to call him Iker, appears to have been a lower Nubian ruler and a political ally of the Theban 11th dynasty. This context of this stela suggests that Iker participated in the signature military achievements of the reign of Wa'ank Entef II, the Theban conquest of the Thinite Nome. So what's happening in this particular period is that the King Keti's, the House of Keti, attacked Tennis, Tegeno, right, or this as it's called, and they attacked, that particular area, and there were these are nomarchs, and he called the Thebans to come out to play, to fight, and they did not come out at that time period. They didn't come out, but what happens is and then there's also Antefi, who is riding the fence, doing good work though, but riding the fence. So nevertheless, the Thebans don't come out to fight Keti's troops at that time period, and but in tennis they do fight. They do fight in tennis, and that is where some of the earlier royal graveyards were, and they fought in the graveyard. And so Keti got a really bad name for fighting in the graveyard, which later will hurt his legitimacy as the Mentuhotep and the rest of these created their propaganda that these people were illegitimate because they violated something central. But yet, at the same time, the Thebans, they take back uh, tennis, right? So Iker Stellar Records records his involvement alongside the Theban rulership in a range of ritual and building activities in the Temple of Tennis and Abdu, including the procession of Osiris. His presence in Tennis and Abdu occurred in the company of a wider Theban delegation that included the Waset rulers of the Theban nome and Evident. Now, the interesting part of it is, remember, he is the chief of Wawet. So he comes from he comes from the lower section, or sorry, the upper section. He comes from there. He's considered a Nubian. Magi, comparable in scale to the well-known house stellar Wonkat Antef II, Iker's stela appears to have been dedicated as a royal favor and recognition of his involvement along military forces from Wawat and Meduland, right? So he's a Magi. And he is working with the Thebans, right? And and certainly to be a buffer against the uh, lower Egyptian forces. Okay, so this is when the stela was recovered. They talk about Sinem K's burial chamber, another important uh, king during this battle. And so, what do we have here? So, I want to. So they start talking about what they do talk about is this author tries to clear up some of the fractions between what colonial scholars did was completely separate, and people like Dr. Hawass that separate people based on race instead of politics. Okay. Hey, Barn Dog, my brother, peace to you. How are you, my good brother? Uh, Barn Dog is one of my day ones, right? He's always helped support my work when I started this channel. So we get other titles. I don't want to deal with that. I might want to get to the point where they start talking about Nubia relationships, just to so this makes my point that before Kush, they are talking about chiefs of Wawat and these titles. Um, and this Nehesi, this Magi, him and his groups are uh, decided to be Egyptianized for their point of view. But mind you, they always have their own language and their own customs, right? Their own cultures. Um, but in this particular case, he's like, yeah, I'm in this land. I'm going to do what the land says. And what is this offering if this helps me? Offering what the king gives to Impu. Um, Offering that the king gives to Osir, lord of Osiris, and Kente Amentu, lord of Abdu, in all his pure and beautiful places, that he may give an offering to thousand beer and bread, an offering which the king gives to Osiris, lord of Osiris, probably Jedu, right? And Kementio, lord of Abydos, and Wet Wawet, uh, Lord, and continues. So, okay, so now I'm trying to get to the point where, okay, this one says, of the necropolis that he may give an invocation offerings consisting of 1,000 beer and bread, 1,000 oxen and fowl, and 1,000 alabaster vessels and clothing to the nobleman, the mayor, the sole companion, Iker, the foremost one, chiefs of Wawed. This helps us to understand that, well, um, he was buried uh, royally in Egypt, uh, and this is done before Mea Hepri, right? And so they have a lot to say about Mea Hepri, but he was buried in the royal tombs. the Valley of the Kings. But before him, one of the people that you can point to is this Magi, right? And so he is being honored by the king of Egypt, right? People break this up in racial lines, but this is geopolitics. So let's see where it says. Um, what is this one? I wanted to translate of that. And okay. Okay, so he does the Egyptian. Okay, so he says, I did not take in respect in front of him a seat in the house, nor moreover place of dwelling the stars of the sky, and or ones who went forth to Magi land and while wet upon probably with the king's order, insomuch as he loves me. So now they talk about the king, loves him, loves this African from the south, right? Who they will later call Hesi, right? So the king loves him, right? The king, who is an African, loves this African from the south, right? And he says the ones who went forth to Magi land and Wawet upon the king's order, right? So it seems like the king needed them, told them to go to their own people and help me out, right? Uh, Intef needed help. So it was an interest of whatever, some temple, I guess, that I rejoice, and the interest of the central hall, making offerings for him, all meat and slaughtered oxen, and providing the daily offerings to Honoris. So Honoris is important. Honoris is the lord of the Kemet, if people do not know. Honoris is the lord of the Kemet, and Honoris, also called Anhor, he is a nature of thinness, this to gentle. And what makes him so important is um, he goes from what they call Egypt, and uh, he goes and brings back the distant one. The distant one is the the Eye of Ra, uh, who can be Metit in some stories and could be Sekhmet in other stories, and the Eye of Ra runs to Nubia, right? It runs out of Egypt into Nubia, and Enhar goes back and brings her back into Egypt, and actually brings her back to this place called Iakimet, right? Brings her back there because she's the mistress of Iakimet, right? She's a receding lion. And interesting that uh, what the so-called Sphinx may have been in an earlier period, could have been just this woman lioness called Métis until a human face was carved on it. But that's another story, right? And that I am not making up, because there's enough evidence that the proportions of the lion uh, with the king's face, it doesn't meet the proportions, and they were really great on proportions. So it may have been a recarved figure, but the receding female lioness has always been a protectorate of places in early, what we call early Egypt. But anyway, 12 says, and providing the daily offerings to Honoris and the ones who love, belonging to Tennis. The council members, in order to greet me, insomuch as they love me, so they love this black man. I burn incense and mortuary offers at this staircase. Well, let me just go back. They love this darker man, right? Who's a magi. So I burn incense and mortuary offers at the staircase upon seeing the goodness, though the desire of the rulers of the Theban Nome, insomuch as they love me. So he keeps saying that they love him, but he's a magi. He's a nehes, right? He goes down to Wawat. He's accepted there where they're not accepted there, right? And the king loves him, my dude, right? Okay, so this gives us a little bit more idea of Egypto-Nubian or Hess um, relationships. So it says, it was that I caused the god to enter, but the priesthood of what? The goddess of tennis greeted me. So the goddess of tennis greeted me saying, your person has arrived safely. You sweeten the aroma of the temples in the presence of one who loves you. They love this dark African. I made him a procession, blah, blah, to the staircase. Let's see where else we are. Him, he got cakes, he got gazelles, he got cattle, constructed as a pile on our planet. This destroys colonial Egyptologists' ideas of Nubia, Nahes, and so-called Egyptian relationships. I want to use it. Observations of the text, on the stellar frame, let's see where it says. It says structure, the number of epithets, the most closely comparing surviving stela of the 11th dynasty, stela of Rudi Kanun, steward of Queen Neferkayet, the wife of Antef II from Dendera. Dendera is another cattle type form, and they venerate Hawat Hor or Hathor. Despite the difference in specific titles and epithets, overall sequence of elements is closely comparable to the true stelas. Okay, so it says due to the degree of damage on the upper line. Okay, so we're not. So here this Jetta FRD or idiot may occur. Okay, so um okay. Okay, so here is uh, maybe important to the work that we do on Smash Rockwell show. Here we have a discussion of both Wawet and Meduland, along with that was lines 5 and 10, with an enigmatic statement mentioning ha 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 wo in pet stars of the sky. This section of the text appears to provide background on Iker's particular relationship with the king. The fragmentary passage of line 8, in front of him, a place in his house. So, ladies and gentlemen, this dark African, right, or this because Africans in Africa could be light and dark, but this African from the South, who European colonial Egyptologists try to make his enemy, has a place in his house. He has a place in the king's house. May deal with the appointment of Ujikur's membership to the royal court. I didn't say it; the lines say it. 5 to 10 appears likely to have provided further information related to the primary title for most of the chiefs of Wawa. At the end of this section occurs the first in a series of compound prepositions, insomuch as he loves me, a statement that reaffirms the theme as part of the biography as one of the royal recognition of Dujker Ikers. These lines on top of the central panel appear to be defining the nature of the political relationship between the Egyptian king and Ujer Iker in his capacity of the chief of the Wawet. So all of this is happening while scholars are trying to separate and the actual text are trying to unify, right? And so I'm hoping that y'all get that and y'all can actually read the whole thing while I'm skipping over. Okay. So there's a goddess of tennis. So he's in the how can I say? I mean, he smells good. Like this cat, he's getting the red carpet rolled out. He's everywhere. He's everywhere where so-called Egyptians are. It says a group of deities are named, apparently all associated with the Temple of Tennis. This includes Honoris, who I talked about, Anhar, Inherit, those are his names, and a term of Nerturt Net Teni, goddess of tennis. This designation might be connected with Mihet, right? A consort of Honoris. That's who I said. Mihet is also Metit. She's the lioness. A possible the primary goddess venerated at Tennis, right? And And so my whole point of it is that Nubia Egypto relationships at this particular time was different than a later time period where they become Hesi. Let me see what the chat is saying. Uh, Great beauty, Wawa is Nubian mountain or high ground or mound, prevented from being flooded. Um, Great. So we got some mountains in here, like we were talking about the other mountain, Jebel Barkel. Okay, so uh, Christopher Wizards, I came in also means shield. That's correct. Um, the long form of Aya Kemet of I Kemet is really Aya Kemet, and Aya Kemet is a place. Have you heard of it, Christopher? I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait. Have you, Christopher? Have you heard of Aya Kemet? The place Aya Kemet? I'm gonna stop reading and wait. Um, my hypothesis is that Aya Kemet is the first place name with Kemet in it, and it's a real place. And the other places of Kemet are symbolic places. They're not necessarily on a known map when they're places. They are kind of like uh, I don't. They're kind of symbolic terms. So it's symbolic in the time period of Keti, where he first talks about Kemet. Uh, when the eloquent peasant talks about it, it seems like he's going to kind of some sacred area where they do rituals that encompasses some type of a state, but certainly both those Kemets are um, places. It's not the name of the country until Mentuhotep. Mentuhotep II, he calls all of Egypt uh, symbolic Kemet as they do Tameri. So the Kemet that we talk about a lot of times, or most, is really a symbolic place. I Kemet is actually a real place. But let me just see what you have to say. Okay, great. So, uh, okay, so great. Christopher Wizard knows about uh, uh, Aya Kemet. So that's great. Aya Kemet is in this area. It's a real place. It is. Christopher, have you seen the glyphs for Aya Kemet? So Aya Kemet is this place that was kind of like a donation, a land donation from Senefero, right? And Aya Kemet is a real place, whereas the other Kemets are not real places, but pretty much a kind of expression, a description, a title, right? Until the late period, where it's relegated to the burial place of Kemet is relegated to be the burial place of the uh, cattle, the Kemet cattle, particularly Apis. Okay, so Christopher. Okay, so let me show this to you, Christopher. So uh, yeah. Okay, so let me. I just have to show this ointment. Okay, so ointment table from. Okay, let's pull this up. Um, where this is? Okay, where is it? Give me a second. No, it's not here. So give me a second. I have to go to my sources. Okay, so I'm gonna show. Okay, so here we are. So um, uh, my desktop. There, what I just saw it and I clicked away from it. Stupid me. Stupid me. Being too quick. saw it on my screen, and I'd already clicked away from it. So let's just see. Kemet book. Alrighty. This is the desktop. Where's Kemet book? Yeah, here it goes. Great. And let's go to the sources. Great. And here it goes right here. Great. Okay. So we were on a show the other day where maybe it should have been Makeup Mondays, Smash says, where you put your crazy theories on. And my theory is that Iokemet is the uh, proto Kemet. And, you know, let's see, it's a real place. It's the first time that we see Kemet, but then, okay, but it has all the attributes of the symbolic chemists. They're symbolic chemists. Then you can't show me a place. You can see it in the writing, but you can't show it actually a place. Yeah. So let me just show you Kemet, how it's written. But the real Kemet, uh, which is a real place, I believe that it's a as tennis is destroyed, and so is what do you call it? Tennis is destroyed. The whole area is destroyed in the first intermediate period. Okay, so here we go right here. Okay, so here we go right here. Blow this up. Sorry, trying to blow it up. It's giving me a little problems, but so this is going to be something that I'm going to have to fight out, but it's okay because I've okay. So here is so this is this part. So this is another Hotep di Nosut in this time period, right, where it's the Meret. It's offering of oils, the Meret oils, right, to the foremost of the Nosut, which is this has is the seal of the king, the ruler of this state, which we could say uh, Hor Hawat, um, uh, who Essanx, the sole one, who is the great overlord of uh, uh, this area right here, which I think is Tennis, who is the overlord. And then we have this term over here, which I would say that this is Juef, but they don't see it as Juef. We'll see why. And then it says over here, it's recitations to the Emir of the Hemnecher. He's this person that they're talking about, Jew. Jew is I think this is his name, Jew. Jew is the Emir, right? In this place called I Kemet exists. There exists here is the Emir of the Hemnetchers, right? And then it says, skipping that, under and it says the Imaku, right, under Mati. So here's Métis. Here is Métis, and Métis, she is the Nebet. She is the mistress, and this word right here is Kemet, the jar in an embattled circle, and this is the short form. So how do I know that? I know that because I'm not making it up. I know that because the author looked at all the titles and deduced that that was the short form of Kemet. That's the short form of Ayakimet, not Kemet, but Ayakimet. So how do we know this, Chris? We go here and we read this. We read this. Showtomb owners of Adir El Gabari describe themselves through their biographies as the Imaku Kur Metit, Nebet Ayakimet, the honored one before Metit. So, uh, uh, the mistress of Ayakimet, the real place. There seems at present no clue of the locality of Ayakimet, named at the seat of the worship of Metis. Hardly any more is known about this place, and even its status as a capital or nome is dubious. There is no ancient Egyptian town or administration or residential center related to the necropolis of Der Kemet has yet been found. Nevertheless, Ayakimet appears in administrative sources of the the third millennium as an agricultural domain founded by King Sennacherib. It seems that for Spacelak, the name Iakemet recorded on this tablet is shortened to this jar. But the complete form of the name is Iakemet, right? Iakemet with the jar, or Iakemet jar, right, with the Nuit, which sometimes shortened to Iakemet with the jar, right? On the other hand, in some tombs of Der El Gabari, the forms are doubtful, and the spelling of the name is merely just this. So this would just be Iakemet. All of this was Iakemet. So, um, but nevertheless, this paper, stop this. This paper, I just wanted to show you that this paper is in the same period as what we're talking about, um, the Nubian or Nahesh or the dark one who is favored in by the king. So let's get this back out and let's go back into here to my paper. Oh no, not to my paper, but to the okay. Okay, so I'm gonna move off the paper for now, and I'm gonna go back into the titles. So let's see if I could go back into the titles because I'm really talking about relationships between these groups of people until there's another war. Okay. Um, so, Christopher Wizards, what did you think about that? I'm not gonna ask you what you think about my theory per se, but what did you think about I Kemet? So, what do you have to say? Uh, I didn't mean to say, what do you have to say? I'm going to say it more politely. What's your thoughts, good scholar? And even if I commit is, well, it seems that we it doesn't exist on any known maps, but we know it's in Der El Gabrari. And we do know that many of the people who died there in their tombs called themselves uh, titles related to it. Okay. So Shesmu says, looks like the people of Kemet are the shields. That may be symbolic, but that's symbolic. You just have to write a paper on it. Uh, Hekanu is the praise. Hekanu is the oil, right? So Christopher Wizard says that this is a great idea. Um, Appreciate that. Um, people can be wrong, but I found an administrative place called Iakemet, which may be shortened in other kings to become a Kemet, where we Kemet is not a place until it's symbolically called the whole of Egypt, right? And so I would the problems that I may face with Iakemet is the same problems people face with Kemet. Same problems. right? What is the etymology? What does it mean? And we've been fighting for I've been fighting for 8, 9 years on what Kemet means with Ujawu and uh, uh, Saw and Hotep, where they say it's riparian, but the whole group of people along the Nile is riparian. But to say Kemet just means riparian because of the fact. And so I've been as you know, I wrote a paper on the human cattle relationships on with Kemet, which is uh, connected to this. But now I'm dealing with I Kemet is the prototype Kemet. Why? Because there you have the in this particular special place you have a emir of the Hemnetchers. Seems to be a place where there are controllers of Hemnetchers at at this time period. It's a donation of Neferu, and then it's reimagined in another period in the Old Kingdom during the prophecy of Neferti, where they talk about Kemet and they talk about Seneferu, the prophecies of and that's where they say the king comes from the south. Nevertheless, uh, let me see what else to say. Let me see. I was saying that they be some relationship. I think you're onto something. Well, I appreciate that. I could be right or wrong. Um, but with all I can just do is put together the evidence that it's a real place. It's the first place name that has Kemet in it, whether it's Ea Kemet or not, right? And then the other Kemets are, imagined territories. They could be symbolic farmlands or states where where in the period of Keti, he creates some type of farmland estate where is he's using it as the heart of his kingdom, right? Then later, right? You have Mentuhotep. Uh, then he knows that there's conflict. They're all trying to be legitimate kings, so they take things from the earlier parts of the historical ritual belief world to make themselves legitimate. So all of a sudden, Kemet seems to pop out of thin air to be a place name. In my paper, well, the first time I see Kemet is in relationship to black cattle, right? And then in the same period, um, you will find the contrast not between the red land and the black land, but you will find the emir of the true black and red cattle with human cattle relationships. But if anybody can show me a real place that's called Kemet instead of a symbolic Kemet, punch that line, you jump on. Because we could call Kemet, 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 Kemet all day and brush our teeth with it, right? But we know that Kemet at one point does refer after this last fight, the intermediate period. We know that Kemet is in fact a symbolic representation of the whole kingdom, just like Tameri. And then in the later Ramses period, we find that Kemet is kind of kicked out. Maybe it's there's a rebellion in that Kemet during the Ramsey period, and he possibly created another kind of symbolic area, and that area was lost. Maybe it was captured during the Sea People battles, or it was under some type of rebellion. Nevertheless, it was kicked out. Does anybody want to see that? See where Kemet is kicked out of Tameri? Anybody want to see that? Right. So Tameri is Moreau. uh, Tameri is Moreau. You're gonna have to show me. You're gonna show me that because Tameri from the Middle Kingdom on is a symbolic representation, a kind of poetic name of their country. Our country tis to be, sweet land of liberty, uh, Tameri. Right? You're gonna have to show me that. Nevertheless, while I go back, while I'm waiting for Chris to give me his thoughts on this, I want to go to some primaries. So we go to the sheaf of a staff with Moroccan inscriptions at Jebel Barkar, Sudan, in the Boston Museum of Fine Arts, and I was there with Jed Amal Kekere, and we missed this, Jed. We missed this. Wow, how did we miss this? Uh, Alloy ritual figure of a bound captive with Moroccan inscriptions. So not only ancient Egyptians are bounding people, right? The Moroccan people are bounding. They have the same concepts, and they are bounding someone, right? And who else could they be bounding? They could be bounding maybe an Assyrian. They could be bounding an Egyptian, so-called Egyptian, right? They could be bounding one of their own. But nevertheless, he's hogtied. See him? He's hogtied. It's giving me more information because he has a fallen feather on his head. So he could be bounding a Ticino or a Libyan. Nevertheless, nevertheless, um, so the Meroic inscription, it says core Nobo Lo. This is one. It is the Nubian. Sorry, this is one. This is the Noba King, right? And so we know that this phrase core is the name that they call their own kings. And so Taharka is the Nasut Bidi, but he is also the Nasut in Kish, right? The yes. So from the titles, and so now we're looking at the southern Africans. This is Pilgrim's Feet and Moroccan inscription of the Temple of Isis and Philae. So the so we see a Moroccan inscription in the Temple of Aset at Philae. And what else do we see over here? Image of graffiti wall. Okay, where there are Moroccan numerals here. And this deals with astronomical observations of equations written. So wait, let me read the whole thing. On the left are two astronomers using an instrument, while on the right are astronomical observations written in Moroccan Nubians. So basically, what you have, what it's saying is that the Moroccan people were astronomers, right? And they were doing complex equations, something that maybe in another show we'll come back to it. The Moroccan script after the fall of Kush, 364-52, the Moroccan kingdom Kish collapsed not long after its invasion by King Usanas of Ascom in the first half of the 4th century. So the Ethiopian kings, as they were accepting Christianity, went in on behest of the Byzantine Pope, right? The Byzantines, and the Ethiopians attacked pagans, as they would call them, right? And they went in and they went to uh, the Meroe, right? They went there on behest of the foreigners, And what does it say? A Meroic delegation and their corresponding inscriptions depict the temple of Isis. So this is something else, but a Meroic delegation, these brothers, and the corresponding inscriptions depicted in the temple of Isis at Philae. So these are this complex, well educated, right? About their business going into the temple of Isis at Philae, and it's a detailed offering table likely made by Meroic ambassadors to Rome. So, wow, they went to Rome. The words apate and arome, envoy to Rome, appear together. So, who knew that? Who knew uh, that the Meroics went to Rome, right? Wow, who knew that? Brother Reggie didn't know that, right? Nubians in Rome. But not, see, here's the thing is when they say things like Nubians in Rome, uh, you know, they be messing that up. These are Meroic ambassadors to Rome. This is more specific. Africans in Rome and Romans in Africa. That's where this paper is, right? So Rome is getting a taste of the Southern Africans. Who knew that? Let's see what else is going on here. So, Meroic inscriptions of the Blimine king of Kermoda in the temple of Calabash. So the Blimines are another group of people uh, who people really believe sacked Meroe before the Ethiopians got there, right? And this is internal fights in the lower part. And this says these two kings were both Blimine rulers who took over the region of Lower Nubia from the Meroites and the Nubades, right? The Nubades before the last group ultimately defeated them. That's what I was talking about. The text also mentions core eight Harry as eight kings of the north between Philae and Adera, who like Commodore Karamadoye may have been subjects to the great king of Asima earlier in the descriptions, right? Okay, so so my whole point of it is, well, I have to reread this. My whole point of this was pretty much showing. What? Oh, wait. Christopher says, and they went to India too. So Shesmo, what do you want me to back up to? So look, we got a lot to learn, right? So looking at the Egyptian or what the colonial scholars want to do with Hesi and the vial, basically that's defamation. The ancient Egyptians are practicing goddamn defamation on and switching up depending on the leader. Because they was bomb diggity. Yeah. So we can't always listen to the ancient Egyptians, right? We can't definitely listen to uh, scholars without, who's using colonial research. So what else do I have here? I showed that that now we know this area over here underneath Egypt, under Atawi civilization, we know that it was complex, right? Under Aswan over here, where this border is, right? All the way down to Meroe, all the way down here. These bad boys, they go to Rome and they go to India. These are some bad boys, y'all, right? Right? They they go all the way up the cataracts and get to Rome, which is across all of this, all the way over here to the east. Shout out to the shout out to the Southerners. Southerners are bad. From Meroe, they go and hand the goddamn Romans, yeah, and say, yo, what's popping? What's popping? From all the way over here. So we have lots more to think about. What's BR saying? Yeah, yeah, defamation. You know what defamation is, right? Def, um, um, uh, how can I say they disrespecting the Southerners' character, right? And then Europeans, they go and take this completely out of context, right? So they misinterpret that these are geopolitical terms, that they're not in always in good terms, and Europeans call Hesse or Kessie, what do you call it? They call it the wretched Nubians, but they also call the Amu wretched, right? Um, but there's nuances in that. So Dr. Mario Beatty, he went to the classical Egyptologist, and he basically said, no, it's a nuance term. So we can talk about that. So your thoughts? I did put in the I did a long time ago put in the screen this the stream. So lastly, what do I want to do right now? So I can start summarizing before people come in. Um, oh, look at this! I missed this. Nubian priests in the ancient Roman world. So let's just do that. Among the Roman town of Herculaneum, which was buried in an eruption of Mount Vesuvius in 79, sorry, CE. There are two preserved frescoes depicting several Ethiopian priests as central figures in a ceremony dedicated to the Egyptian god Isis. Across the Mediterranean to the Nile, southernmost border of Rome, was the city of Philae, where numerous inscriptions and relief scenes indicate the presence of Nubians as priests in, I say, ceremonies and temple administration. The appearance of Nubians, who are called Ethiopians, as important religious figures in the Roman settlement, separated by vast differences, illustrate the dynamic nature of diasporic communities and Africans across the ancient world. Um, has been overlooked by historiography of the continent. Historiography of the continent. The rapid spread of ISEC centers across the Rome empires, widely attested establishment of ancient African religions practiced in the Mediterranean world. But if you notice, they're talking about Nubian. They're not talking about just Egyptian. The Patreon article explores the history of Nubian priest of Isis in the Roman world, focusing on activities of towns of Philae and Herculaneum. So now this painting right here is pretty known. This this picture right here, if you want, I can find it where it is, but it's a picture of uh, noble Africans from the South guiding these ceremonies as these Greeks and Romans and mystery cults. I'll find it for you. So let me just find it for you. Picture uh, of Nubians and Isis ceremony. Uh, ceremony. And here it is. And you can get this. It's I guess it's a Getty image, but I've seen it. Here it goes right here. and they want $375, but we can find it in other sources. Let's see this one here. There it goes right there. So these ain't these ain't family. These ain't Egyptians. These are the Southerners, right? And we know that there was an envoy to Rome with these guys, but here is that they are these himnetchers or conducting yeah they got their counterparts up here, right? But they are conducting they are actually conducting the ceremony, and you see them with their little headpieces, with their little Greek Roman kind of like crowns on their head. And but who's doing the work? Oh, they getting it popping right here. They got the music, right? They they got Smash Rockwell. They got the rappers, right? They got the crew out here, right? They got the producers. Now they preparing the incense. They got Tahuti down here, the ibis birds, right? Um, and they doing the ceremony, and these are not necessarily Egyptians. So that's why I'm saying, oh, okay. So let's see this one over here. Is this another one? Yeah. So so what we do is, because Europeans have separated Nubia from this area and made Nubia pretty much the uncivilized groups of people. Uh, we and have separated them. All right. So when you see stuff like this, um, Osiris welcomes the deceased presented to Inpu, and this is the third and second century. Um, yo, who they listening to? Everybody is listening to this person right here, the deceased person right here. Can I blow this up? Yeah. Who got their attention? Okay. Okay. I don't know. Who everybody, this African right here, down dark skin, right? With the Impu is the blackity black, right? Usir is the green. Uh Uset and Neped, you know, they the red bone honeys, right? Whore, right? And we got Hawa Whore, but who they listening to? Oh man, they listening to this person who was supposed to be the wretched, the Hesse, the all of that. So what's going on before I close this? Patal, what's going on?
What's up, my brother?
My brother.
Man, I appreciate that. The information was excellent. I only would have only one contention with it, but everything else, I mean, you revealed a lot of good information.
What's your contention?
Man, you gotta stop with that Tahinu, the Tahinu, and always trying to bring the Libyans down in Ta Shema, or the land of peace. You trying to always bring them down into the land of peace.
What do you what do you the Tamu or
What?
the Tamu or the Chino?
You bring them both down in there, and I'm trying to get you to keep them both out of there. Because nah, I'm not with that.
Well, how can you?
They not for what if well, I wouldn't say that the Chinu were in there at all, but if so, it's so minimal it would be ridiculous. But the Tom who they wouldn't be in there, like they ain't the mass. They
They
not
took
them.
over
They not the
Where's
people.
Shoshank?
Come on now, we talking about Old Kingdom. We ain't talking about no bullshit.
Yep, no, that's not bullshit. It's all Egypt. You can't pick and choose. What about
Come on,
Shoshank?
you always using that term Egypt, and you always want to beat up everybody else who use it. Come on now, let's either use to use the lower kingdom, or the upper kingdom, or Kemet, or
Well,
one of them, what did they, let me ask you this.
yeah,
What did they call in the old kingdom
yes,
besides for the unification after Nama when Scorpion went up there and smashed them Northerners' heads? What did they call that lower land? And don't other than either Tawi when they joined the two
yeah,
lands,
yes. Smite is when they united.
or well, I'm gonna put forth. Well, I got well. Y'all not ready for this with the Thai Shmawi, but what did they call that lower area of the delta and down, past Aswet? What did they call that in ancient times?
Well, I think that.
You don't have a name for it.
Well, no,
You
wait,
ain't got a
no,
name
no.
for it.
So here's the thing. They
Mm-mm.
use they use icons, right? So,
Okay, what icon? Give me an icon.
but they didn't. Once they started uniting it, they didn't. They tried to pull it together. They ain't trying to do it to you. You trying to make it the Southerners and the Northerners. You
Nah,
that's what you trying to
nigga,
do.
they made it the Southerners and the Northerners,
Nah,
not me.
they try to unite. They try to unite the kingdom.
Hold up. Okay, you know how you said the Ta Mehu and the Ta Shemau, right?
Yeah.
Ta Mehu are the people that live with the May plant, which are which is the papyrus plant with the triangle and grew up and the leaves, whatever, right? That's the lower lands,
Yeah, but
right?
it's.
The upper land, the up. Hold on, the upper lands.
Oh my.
The lower lands is Ta Sen Shen or Ta. It's really Seshen Ma'at Ta Shma, the land of peace, the place where the 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 lily where people followed Ma'at, that peaceful place down there in the bottom.
Ma'at is not peaceful, by the way. The word Ma'at is
Well, that followed the law then. Okay, let's follow. Okay, well, that followed the law. If you didn't follow the law, you got dealt with.
not. Yeah.
Yeah, you can't wiggle out of this one. I got you.
No, I can because I do
No, you
nuances. But
can't.
you're trying to do
No,
you're trying to build something that
nah,
I
it's
admit I don't do.
it's right there though.
I
What's up, baby?
oh, what's up? He got
Nah, my wife. She
yeah.
came out the room. I thought she was great. Tell me I'm too loud or something. But
You
anyway,
are
go
loud.
ahead. I'm
She's
trying to be.
right.
I'm trying to be. For real.
You
Though.
can't be right. Look,
I'm trying.
Shazmu on Mondays at Smash.
Nah, don't even try it. Don't even try
On
it.
Mondays
That was with
on
Smash that,
Smash
so I didn't come
Show,
out there.
you can do
Nah,
all of
nah.
that.
I'm here now. It's Sunday.
No, you're not here.
Well, I don't know the difference between Sunday and
Yeah,
Monday.
you
Then
do. Yeah, you
I
do.
don't know the difference between. I'm off tomorrow and Tuesday. So today, hey, since
Charlotte,
Hey,
tomorrow's
it's on and popping.
Monday. It's cool. Go on
Nah.
Smash Show.
Well, it's at. Look, let me tell you this though. It's after 6 o'clock. So when we go back in time, after 6, we had to get him in the sepulcher before 6 because that's the next day.
Okay. Well, I will say yeah. The next
Today is
day,
Monday.
no, the next day the sun didn't come up on that day. So
No, it ain't wasn't about the
so let
sun
me do this.
coming up.
You have some points of view. Uh, I
No, don't patronize me
no,
with
I'm
no.
not.
I mean,
I
pat
said
you on
you
the
have
back and
some
say you
points
coming
of
up with some
view.
good ideas or points of view. But look, see, I love what you got up there right now, Dookie Gal.
Yeah, I got
Oh,
yeah because
I
I'm
got some information about that.
yeah, but bro, in between you putting up the information, I am between you putting up the information, good brother. I let me see. So on
Test, test.
No, but the reason why, what's up, whoever coming in?
Okay,
Someone
that's
said
not my
test
mic
test.
working. Okay,
Oh, what's up,
what's
Chris?
up?
Man, man, y'all gonna have to
oh,
beat me to the ground and make me submit because I'm in the dojo right now. I'm on myself. I done tapped into something that I think is really special. I don't care writing books. I'm not trying to get followers. I'm not doing it, but I think I have seen something that has not been revealed, and I'm revealing it now. And I think the nubiologists have seen it, but they coming. And to Dr. Ashby's friend, and I know some of y'all gonna hate me. Y'all hate me already, but it's Dr. Ashby's friend. When he talk about the giraffe with wings, um, that was just an African saying the giraffe is tall, and those the tree limbs or the 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 leaves of the papyrus tree. That's just saying how tall they are, and those are not wings. Those are papyrus branches, or those are tree branches that were on that, whether it was a wood carving or whatever it was. But getting back to the revealing, the nubiologists, they there. They are there. The Meroetics, they are there. And we all are coming back home. We coming back home. And you know what? I meant to ask you, Chris, while you on the line. You had corrected me because I said I saw something on the Narmer pilot, and I definitely know I saw that Ta Mehu. But you said the where I said the as if they were coming through the door and this is procession. What did you call that? I forgot what you corrected me on that.
Yeah, I can't remember. I think
it's the split upside down V. What is that? What is that?
Oh, there's a flotation device used in the Old Kingdom that becomes a glyph later on called Jabba, and it's a flotation device that's used in hunting hippopotamus. Jabba means to unite or come together.
Okay, I'm that.
Jabba.
I have no problem with that. So y'all hear what he's saying? Chris is saying they had an actual flotation device, like tanks of air. These airs of
Yeah,
whether
these
it was
bladders.
these bladders of skins that they could take underwater and like creep. These were the first doggone seals.
No. They weren't scuba diving with them. They were using them for the rafts when they would hunt hippos.
Oh, okay,
as extra,
to keep
for
the
extra buoyancy.
Gotcha. I got you.
Right.
I was going to take it there, but it looked like on the Nama pilot, it looked like those two.
Now the Assyrians had what you're talking about. The Assyrians had deep, and the Persians had bladders. They used to dive underwater.
I thought because they were able to because they would put barriers, even like dams, but barriers, and they could go underneath those barriers and come into a city, sneak into a city, and
somebody said hunting hippo was wild. I know, right?
Hippos. Yeah, hippos will mess you up.
I'm sorry, Reggie. I didn't mean that.
Well, I'm not trying to take your take over the show, Reggie. I appreciate we as a brother, I got that brotherly love for you as like a Philadelphian, as a city of brotherly love, and Chocolate City from DC, all that stuff. But I appreciate you letting me while I'm sipping.
But Tyler, let me say this to you. Mm-hmm. Be careful. I mean, I see what you're doing.
You always tell me that, Chris. You always tell me, be careful. You're going with it.
You seem to be doing some of the Dr. York stuff, man, with words.
No, I'm not. I promise you. People,
some of your breakdowns, these syllabic breakdowns and stuff like that. I'm telling you, I've seen this before, bro. You're doing some of the Dr.
Maybe
York
so.
Stuff,
maybe so, but okay.
Look, when you do words like that, look for the root. Stop doing this ka ba ta stuff. Look for the root of the word and then go from there. Right? Stop. My bad. I can't say stop doing what you're doing, but just.
Check this out,
just
Chris.
Be careful in doing that, man.
But check this out, Chris. You got to understand that I know you are classroom trained, but in the classroom training, Brother Law trying to get into some. I hear somebody or. Oh, that was I guess somebody was trying to call.
Is Reggie still here?
But he's still he letting us build.
I'm not. I'm not.
You're not. Oh, let me stop there. No disrespect.
Christopher Withers.
Now he wants to jump in. He
haven't said nothing original. Anything that he wanted to say. I mean, he clicked the link. So Christopher is, he's one of the tops. So I'm listening to him.
Yeah, he wanted to come in because he knew I was coming in. So he wanted to come in.
I wanted to tag team on what Brother Reggie was saying about the ECAM. And hey, Reggie, I got some stuff on Slow Cook too. It's kind of weird how minds work. Our paths are crossing without even knowing about it. I'm just saying, if I like to collaborate, you know what I'm saying, on which one some of that, because I got some stuff about names and Kemet and Ekemet and Echem, and I got some ideas too about it not being a name. Well, clearly it wasn't a name for Egypt. It was so-called Egypt at one time.
Mm-hmm.
But I got some. But that was that article you brought out. I really like the article you brought out though.
Well, yeah, yeah. So, I mean, how can I say? I was on Smash's show, and uh, maybe I bought it. I should have, because I was trying to hide my hand because I'm writing, but I believe that that is the first uh, time that we see Kemet, and we see it with the uniliterals, but we see the ayah in front of it,
Right.
and so people are so used to saying when we see Kemet, it got to be the pure Kemet. It just got to be the I6 glyph and or the uniliteral Kemet. But the problem with the ear Kemet is problematic. But we have this incredible king at this time, King Senefero, who is one of the pyramid builders. He's trying to build the perfect pyramid. He is really expansive in his thoughts about what his country will be. So he introduces this word Kemet, and then it becomes to me a symbolic name that kings will use, and maybe they have some type of estate where they do some rituals, or but Kemet is never really a real thing.
Right.
That's and so, but people think that Kemet is a real thing, and it's more a symbolic expression of writing about their country. And I, and I'm just so surprised that people think that just because they see it with the Nuit symbol on it, they think it's a real place, right?
Right.
Well, can I add to that? Because I would say that, and I'm gonna come in with my chest poke out because I'm feeling myself these days. Smash Rockwell, and I was there as a witness in in the readings, in the text. We came across a text that talks about the gates of Kemet. So I would render. Now I'm not going to render where you was trying to say where Kemet was at, but I will. I would stand on that there is a place that was considered Kemet, not just a conceptual
Yeah,
idea.
I don't think the brother's saying that. I don't think he's really saying it that way.
That would have sounded like Chris since you jumping to his
Oh my God, he can't help me out.
No, Reggie,
hell
Reggie
no,
don't read the
hell
text with
no.
us. I'm sure the brother. I know he knows that there are places that were small city states. Or,
Right.
Well, why is he saying that then?
Because
and I'm just keeping it real. I'm not loud. I'm not trying to be. I'm just trying to get in there because y'all treat me like sometimes y'all treat me like a newbie. But I've been around a minute now. Go ahead.
anyway, I'm just saying. I mean, between Smash, Reggie, I mean, we didn't have the text up. I think most people know that there was small towns or villages at some point called Kemet, and it's not the whole region.
Right. It's state.
Right.
Well, that goes without saying. Between within us, that goes without saying. You say
No, there are Egyptologists outside our circles who know that too.
Well, them, but they don't know.
No, they do know.
Well, they don't.
I'm telling you.
Well, they might know, but I'm not sure what you're trying to say. They know, but I'm saying they don't know. They don't deal with what we know. We know within the circle because we pay attention.
Can you guys hear
Go
me?
ahead. Yes, sir.
Jose.
Yeah. What's up, man?
What's up, man?
It's funny, Reggie. I actually did a show with Kush in it, and then I saw Smash come on. So I don't know. It was I don't know if it was the ancestors, but I know Reggie don't like people using those terms, so I'll use the term coincidence.
Okay. Well, I mean, it just depends on the context, but
It was doing a breakdown of people saying that Kish and Samaria and Kush are the same place.
Okay, I'm not doing that.
Right, we ain't. Come on.
I'm
But
not doing
look,
that.
the promotion.
It was
the
negative.
promotion
Hold
that
up.
Negative.
Because guess what? It's 7:16,
Okay,
and
sorry.
I'm gonna have dinner,
Oh, shut it down.
and
Okay,
Chris
no problem.
got
You can get
something on a slow burn, and he ain't gonna burn it. So,
Okay, no problem.
can you give Chris a few minutes, to so I can hear his thoughts, right?
No problem.
Chris, you still
Yes, sir.
there?
Yeah, I'm still here, Reggie.
Yeah. So what do you think? Yes, of course, Alexandra Nibby says that Kemet can be a black. We could look at it as a black city, right? The problem is when we try to locate these black cities, we okay, we have some difficult, right? So I do think at some point they are actual places. I just think that there are state foundations where there's priests, administration, uh, sacred animals. That it's like a utopia of what the whole country should be, and then it changes places. So that's what I want to say about it now. But you're here, so which what, which
Yeah, that's kind of what I was saying earlier. I got some stuff where I'm cooking up, um, not necessarily as a place name, but I'm looking at, well, first of all, how it was used in names. And I got some, like I said, I got some stuff that I'm cooking up about how, for example, in Deir el Medina, I'm doing a deep dive into was this name, what was this word, excuse me, used in names and by whom, right? We see people using it in their names. Is it pertaining to where they're located at? Is it pertaining to a job title? Is it pertaining to the color of their skin, right? So I'm trying to see what class of people who used it and who did not use it.
Yeah, sometimes it seems sometimes it could be relating to a place, but sometimes it could be relating to black cattle.
Absolutely. I found the cattle reference, right.
Right.
Yep. Certain groups of people who played around with cattle, if you will, that was like a designate, a marker, like who they are by their names.
Yes.
Because other cultures do that. And other, like for example, in Indian culture, Hindu culture, if it's a Singh, if it's a certain last name, it points to a profession or a trade back in ancient times.
Like Kemetiu, Kemetiu in the early, and this is in the Unis time period, right? So it seems to be worshippers of the black cattle. Again, and then why? Because we have Hathor's worshippers of the Tentanu, which is her sacred cattle, the Tenetiu, right? So we don't we what we don't we it's these are all research questions, right? We use our tools to try to figure out, because we're not going to get any help from the traditional colonial, because for them it's just black land,
right?
They named after the black land, but like I was saying to Smash show, they didn't have no black mud economy. They ain't go and use the wagon uh, uh, instead of tractor, but the wagon in that time and harvest the black mud and worship on that.
Yeah.
Hold on.
The black mud without water didn't mean nothing. And then the black mud, when the water didn't come, it was disease ridden. There was a frogs. If there's frogs is popping out, then the snakes are coming, and the hippopotamuses are coming, right? It's crocodile.
The plagues are coming, right? The plagues. Now you're bringing in the plagues, right?
No, I'm just saying.
He mentioned plagues.
No, I'm just saying the receding Nile, right, is dangerous, right? It's right.
So Patal, one thing he's talking about, and there's a town called the Year of the Hyenas. Look, you ever heard of that? Look that up. The Year of the Hyenas.
Not the actual city, but yeah, hyenas.
Right. No. I'm saying, but look up. There was a period of time they called the Year of the Hyenas.
I'll look it up. I'm sure that was probably when the hyenas came in droves.
No. Yeah. You look it up though. Look it up.
Okay. I'll look it up. All right. Now, can I?
No, we're not finished. I'm trying to get everything I can from Chris.
Go ahead, get it from Chris. Chris, what else? Come on, will you please, Chris? Just open up a letter and go ahead and give Reggie.
We're building. That's what we're doing. Yeah, we're building.
What Reggie is trying to say that unfortunately the majority of our community has been hypnotized, chematized, right? Without trying
Here
to
we go.
understand what Kemet may mean.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I agree with that.
Y'all the only ones. No, let me stop. Reggie, can I interject real quick? I just want to say that what you have on the screen now, I would, since I've got both you two scholars on the line, can you bring up? I know I'm asking you to do a little work. Maybe put that Dookie Gale in half and bring up the Stella that has something similar to those Dookie Gale, and I'm gonna call them Keds, but we could call them. Well, I guess we wouldn't call them Serex because y'all might beat me up and say no, Serex are temples, but these brick circles, because as you go back in time, they were circles instead of squares or built up, high,
You're talking about the
and
granaries?
became okay. You want to call them? I'm not gonna say that they were all became granaries. But
You have control. You can share it because I don't know.
oh, you want me to share? See, I have it on my phone. Let me see. All right, let me see if I can share it from
What
my.
are you
I'm
saying they
gonna
are,
log in
Pata?
twice.
Goddamn
What are you
phones are
saying they are?
dangerous, y'all. Phones are dangerous.
I am saying that they are the communities, right?
The granaries?
All right. Not. Come on now. No, Reggie said. Reggie said. Hold on. Reggie said granaries. I'm saying those circles right there. I'm saying those are communities.
What, inside the circles themselves?
Come on, man.
Here? Inside these
Yes, sir.
circles? These are
Yes,
communities,
sir.
but there's no entrance
Yes,
and
sir.
exits in them. Which is
But
the
they're not
ladder?
they're not that high. You could actually step into them. But hold on, let me show you what I'm talking about. I
Um,
mean, yeah, just humor me. Go ahead, Joey, and do what you do.
can I jump in here for a second? Reggie,
Solomonic TV.
Yeah.
I want to ask Chris a question. Are you going to put together an actual presentation and present that on someone's channel, or that's just for personal research?
No, I'm gonna write a paper.
This is
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, no, I ain't going to nobody. I mean, I'll talk about it on someone's show once I'm done with it, but yeah, I'll put it in the paper and put it out there for people to read it.
Okay,
Yeah.
I would, because I would like to.
Yep.
I would definitely like to hear it or see it.
One reason why I don't want to do it as a full blown show, I just think it's a lot of background that comes with it, and I'd rather people, right? You know what I'm saying? I'd rather than read the paper, then they can just highlight, draw lines, look stuff up. You know what I'm saying? But now we can free flow it though. I could be on Smash Show or be on here, and we could talk about it, but not just a full blown lecture about it.
I mean, I just want to see the work. If you do it in the back chat, wherever, it doesn't matter. Just let me know, and I want to tune in to hear what you have to say. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, for sure.
I just want access. However you decide to do it, I'm cool with it. I just want.
Oh no! Before I'm done with it, I'm gonna expose snippets of it now, just to get people's feedback on it. Yeah, I'm not just gonna. Yeah, I'm gonna have to get some kind of review from it, some peer review from you all from it. Absolutely.
Well, I'm gonna have to be the looky loo because I'm not proficient in language, so I just want to be the guy that just looks.
No. You still have some input though. It's cool. You know what I'm saying? You make suggestions.
I really should, because I'm not qualified to make suggestions because your skill level is way above mine. So I wouldn't do that.
Never underestimate the novice.
Making some suggestions now, but yeah, yeah. Where might you publish this? Because except for Academia Edu, we don't have too many, unless you go to RC, or you go to ASAR, like Jedimon Kekere does, and put in a paper, because you could put in a paper in ASAR, but they have expensive membership and stuff like that. But you can get it out to the community if it gets accepted. If you write a paper and you put it in, you send it to ASAR, right after you pay your membership.
Mm-hmm.
See if they accept it. But RC is more traditional Egyptologist. ASAR, if you talk to Jedam Kekere, he can help you navigate that. Right. He can help you navigate that because he's, Dr. Ashby, she presents there, and a number of African American scholars uh, present there, and then Rosetta Cash comes, and Dr. Deborah Hurd comes. It's a group of people from what's the name of their organization with Dr. Faragee, and the Leo Hansberry group. So the Leo Hansberry group, they come as a group. So then you have like 6 or 7 African American scholars. Deborah Hurd comes, and they.
Yeah, never heard.
Where are you? What part of the United States are you in?
Right now, I'm in
Oh,
Alabama.
In Alabama.
Yeah.
Yeah. So they sometimes I think they do go to California, and they go to Boston, right? So it's expensive. I mean, to get in front, and what, you only get 30 minutes, but you're able to put it in the paper in the abstract,
Mhm.
uh, and you get a chance to talk to the Egyptologists that are there. So when I went there with Jenama Kekere and Monica and some of Dr. Ricketti's school, uh, um, uh, uh, I went there, so I was able to talk to Dr. Ashby. I was talking to Rosetta Cash, who I know. I was able to talk to Stuart Tyson Smith and uh, Dr. Karakuni, and some of the people I did miss. But there are the Egyptologists that we know, and some that we don't know. They're there, and you can exchange numbers, but they are who they are. They sometimes some of them are high on a horse, and some of them are scared to engage with people who are not PhDs because they don't like social media. They don't want to see their names on social media. They are sticking with that's their money, that's their livelihood, to stay in the established realm, right? But if you talk to Jedamah Kekere, uh, if you when you have this paper, because he's presenting in next month. He's presenting next month there, so he's certainly helpful, and you guys have some of the best skills, right? Um, uh, yeah, in the history and the language. So if you depending on what your money's like and how you do it, that otherwise you're just forced to put it on academia.edu, and that's not helpful. I mean, if I have to put it there, I will. The other thing is to put it in a book, but look, books are what you call closed. They're very closed, meaning that if people don't buy your books, right, or if you don't put your book in libraries, or somebody doesn't review your book, it's not going to get any traction. It's not going to get any traction, and so that's the problem with books. If you're not established, if you have an established publisher, then fine, then they will make sure that you get your book will get reviewed and stuff like that. But if you put a book out there in the wild, people may find it, but that's why I decided when I wrote my paper to put it in a book or to try to put it in a journal, and luckily I was able to put it in a journal. And journals are hard to put it in. So that's why I asked you. That's why I asked you where might you write the paper.
Speaking of difficult, I was trying to add um, a photo to my phone and try to present it, but this platform is so difficult sometimes. But anyway, I added the let me see, I might be able to get to it. In the private chat, I added the link to it. Let's see if I can bring it
Put
up.
it in a regular chat
Well, I
because I'm
couldn't put
not
it, it
going to.
wouldn't let me put couldn't figure out how. Can you also let me see? Let me see.
What do you mean you can't put it in a regular chat?
Oh,
But anyway, it's 7:30. I'm
it's
gonna
right
be on
here.
for.
It's right here. I'm here. I mean,
Where?
if you don't want
No, it's not that. I'm just trying to figure out. You can't say it's here. Where?
Well, I'm about to present it, but I mean, if you're trying to rush off, you normally ain't trying to rush off.
No, no. Present it.
All
Present it.
right,
Present it.
all right. Hold on a second. Presentation.
In the meantime, Dookie Gel, which you might want to call one of the, you might want to call it Kush, right? Is very, very, very. How can I want to say I want to say it. You could compare this to the best of ancient Egypt, right? You could compare this to the best of ancient Egypt. The layout, the layout, the section. You could compare it to some of the best of ancient Egypt, right? We don't know what this temple is in the middle, what it looked like when in its heyday, but you can see that it was amazing. So did you put the link
Can
up?
you tell me if it's sharing?
Yeah, let me just check.
Oh no, it's not sharing. Hold on, here we go. All right, what was this? Damn, I've got to I got so much security on this thing. I've got to allow it.
Yeah, know what? You sure you got all these
Give me
ideas?
1 second.
Shit,
Give me 1 second.
worth $1 million, boy.
I'm getting it's for free.
You go Super
And it's for
Wavy.
free.
Shout out to Super Wavy Shawnee, right?
And it's free because I'm not writing any books. I don't want any followers. What's the other thing? I'm not what you call want clicks and likes. I don't. That's not me. I'm good. Hold on.
Can,
This is like a hobby. This is like a love or whatever you want to call it.
can I pose a question to you, Brother Reggie? If I'm saying that modern Ethiopia would have been ancient Kush, is that accurate, or is that an erroneous statement to make?
The Greeks would have called it Ethiopia, but the fact of the matter is no. The daggone damn Ethiopians, right? They went into this part of Africa from where they was to attack it. So F them for that. F King Azana and his people for doing that.
What about now, Reggie? Is it showing? Is it sharing?
Okay.
I don't know.
Uh, yeah, let's see.
I think it
So I
is.
see iCloud.
I think.
Okay, this is gonna be
Oh
interesting, y'all.
shit! No, let me stop. I'm sorry. My mistake.
This gonna be interesting, y'all. Here it
Here we
goes.
go. We're going into what
You
did
got
Chris
me
call it?
staring.
The
Oh my
pseudo
goodness.
judo. I mean, no, Chris. No, Reggie would call it the pseudo judo. Chris called it the what? The
Oh my
stop going
God,
out
yo.
there. All right.
There it
All right.
goes.
So what do we see here? I'm not. I can't remember what Stella this is, but this is one of the Stella from one of the like probably 00 before Norma Stella type thing, right? So
Yeah.
so you see the shapes of these. What would you call these? Let me ask Chris. Chris, you still there?
In Battle Fortress,
Yeah, man.
Wait. Let me ask Chris. I know you know, Reggie. I know Chris knows too, but I just want to make sure Chris is here. All right. So what do you see here? Can you tell me what you see here?
See, I don't like playing the what to see game, man. I want to see the whole
Okay.
thing.
All right.
I want to see the whole thing.
All right. Don't. I don't. You don't want to play. Okay. All right. So Reggie, you want to play the what you see here? What you see, game?
yeah.
All right. So what do you tell me? What you see here on this on
But
this stuff?
if I had to say something though, that it looks like the beginnings of the not Ked, the structure glyph, Enub.
Wait a minute. If it's not see, you tripping. I get beat up when I call it Inu because or Inu.
Yeah.
And then wait. I get beat up, and then you call. Then I say maybe it's a kid, and then if I say if it's a correct, it's a brick. Okay, we know it's brick structure around the walled brick structure.
Right, because the word Inu means more so a wall or a fortification.
Right.
Yeah, but I get beat up when I say, oh, they wrote that there. But
No, he's giving you the technical term. These are what they call index.
I know. I mean, it's right there in Karma, but anyway, on Nomad. But anyway,
Oh, but these are different time
Right.
periods.
This is the old time period. Yeah, Karma was 20,
Okay.
25.
So the difference between which this, right, and Dookie Gel, the circles or squares in Dookie Gel are not places for people. These are places for where there are
So
people.
you said,
Go back.
who said they're not? But I don't want to argue. But look, there and like you said, if you can switch, is there a way that you can? So there's one, as we can see, these KEDs or these brick structures of these certain people who are ruling these areas, right? And I'm going to present that they are nearby areas. But there's one, two, three, four,
Okay, right now we see
five.
something that looks like it's from.
Can I
What is
finish?
this?
One,
No,
two.
because you're showing something that's different
Oh,
now.
go ahead. Go ahead. I'm
No,
not
you're
showing
showing
it.
something
I'm
different,
showing
bro.
the same thing. But go
Now
ahead.
you're back to the same screen.
I never switched. Reggie must have did that.
Oh, okay.
Don't beat me up.
I'm
I
trying.
come in
I'm trying
peace.
to.
I come in peace.
Okay, so here is. So
Sama.
let's do this, right? So let's go back to share this again, and unfortunately, I'm gonna have to leave.
Oh, here we
So in a few seconds.
Well, let's
No,
just try this for another time. Then let's do to be continued to bring people back to the next stream.
okay, so here's Dookie Gel again. Or this is Karma, right? This is Karma, right?
But show the
Um,
other one. Show the other picture. Don't show that picture. Show one that's
well, because there's squares here.
Right.
There's squares here.
Reggie.
These are not
Reggie, come on, please work with me.
okay. I'm working on. I'm working with you.
Okay, thank you.
So let me
And zoom
go.
in.
Oh my God.
No, ain't no my goodness. Come on, brother. I mean, don't
What's
treat me.
what's the
Treat me
premise,
like.
Vital? What are you trying
Oh,
to?
here we go. Here we go.
No, I don't know what it is. Like what are you trying to?
Zoom in,
Boy,
Chris. Zoom. I'm gonna take zoom in, Chris. No, zoom in, Reggie. Zoom in, Chris.
well, I'm gonna
Hold
Yeah,
zoom
on,
in.
Reggie
hold on.
has got the
I
mic in
know,
his
I
hand.
know, Reggie has.
You got
I'm
the
just messing with
controls.
you. Y'all know I love y'all to death. I mean, y'all don't know. We've never met and all that stuff, but y'all
Okay,
my
so
brothers. Zoom in.
these
You haven't zoomed in yet. Enough. A little bit more. One more time.
no, there's no
Oh, there's
more.
no more. Okay.
I done did three different
But check this,
zooms.
Reggie. A minute ago, you had those 8, 3, 6, 8.
Now I'm showing you the more. I'm showing you the whole
No,
Right, that's
check
the
layout.
whole
it.
layout of the city.
No, check it though. A minute ago, you had those 3, 6, 8 circles.
That didn't
A
go right there,
little.
Vital. They're right in the middle. I'm
They
looking at them.
are, but he had
Yeah,
them zoomed in a little further. But
they look
it's
like
fine.
places where you store something at to be.
I mean, okay, that's fine for you. But
These are not cities
I'm not saying the
where
cities.
these are not where people are. These are. It seems like.
So I'm gonna make you prove. I'm gonna make you come back on your next stream and show and
Oh
prove
no.
what they are. Because I'm saying when they will come into those different areas, these are meeting places, and these might be meeting places. Might be. I'm not.
But if they're meeting, they're meeting in isolation. They can't talk to each other
Absolutely.
because of the wall.
No. Because they would come in and the chiefs would meet in their areas and they would speak to each other and do whatever. But check this out.
But there's walls. How can they speak to it? They got to climb over the walls.
Those walls are not that high. Those brick things are not that high.
So they're all standing their own
You could
circles.
literally, when you go to Dookie Gale, you can literally all those little circle things outside of. You can literally walk on those things, step cross, like when we used to play walk along the sidewalk with the raised little sidewalk thing on the side. When we used to be like, oh, I can balance myself and walk across. You can literally do that on those circles, the smaller circles down there. But anyway, we see this correct. Those 8. Right? Those are 8. Now go back to, if you don't mind, humor me. Go back to the Stella that I was showing you. Right? Yeah, we're gonna have some fun here. The Stella that I'm sharing.
But I'm still trying to figure out what should.
You about to don't do that. Who was that did that to me?
That was me.
No. That was the community of skeptics. Now you're acting like Cedric. We can see, we see, but no. Okay, hold on. Let Reggie bring up the share part. Yeah, there it is. I see it.
Where?
number 2 to the end. The second. Yeah, there you go. All right. Are you able to bring up the bottom left one that shows like all 7 instead of 8? There's 7. Excellent. All right. Now, I'm putting forth that we are told that Dookie Gale is like 1 kilometer, like say a mile, right? Y'all know what a mile is. My son runs track. It's like 4 rounds around the track, 400 meters. So it's like one kilometer. Sorry, Chris. 1 kilometer away from Kermer, which had mad gold. Dookie Gale had gold too. But check this out. So, but we are told through, because they're always saying that the Nile Valley is younger than Sumeria because they want to make the place of Eden the oldest place, right? And I'm presenting that. I know that this place is older, but anyway, these structures right here are similar. I'm not saying that they are exact. I'm putting forth that these structures right here, where we saw the 8 and these are the 7, and then if you look at the gnome map, that first one on the right, we have already come to the conclusion. We have, as in our senior group, and I'm gonna say, yeah, I'm part of that senior group. Whoever is mad about that is too bad. The Merho, that means you are a leader, and I'm in agreement with what Smash put forth. You got the Hero, you got the Lion, you got Scorpion, you got the Double Falcon, and I'm gonna put where that's broken.
Okay. The difference. Wait, I'm seriously. I have to go now. Right.
Right.
The last thing I would say, the only difference between this layout, this is not one polity. This is groups of polity.
I agree.
Groups of polities are all named, right?
And I'm saying Dookie Gale is the same way.
And I'm saying what's missing from the Dookie Gal is that if it was the same, then you would see the Scorpion, you would see the Lion, you would see the Horus.
Okay.
Right? You will see that, and then over here there's a fortress of human beings, right? You will see that.
Well,
it's also like the Libyan. It's like the Libyan palace.
Hold up, before you run away. Hold on.
I'm
Go
running
back real quick.
Libyan,
Before you run real quick. Let me throw this out there before the people get. Unless you want me to come back. Unless you're going to allow me to come back and continue. But if you go back, I'm gonna show you something on the gnome map.
Okay.
And if you guys have a photographic memory like I used to have, the top right was Meru, right? There was the owl, Meru. Then you had Kawa. Okay, yeah. I forced you to come back because I'm telling you.
No, now I'm telling you where.
Now zoom in.
Now I'm telling you where this is. So this is the Ticino.
You zooming in.
Since you didn't like the Ticino, these are towns, Libyan booty, seeds, trees, and towns from and there's also the Voodoo palette, and these are Libyan. So you're saying
it's
that
funny. It's funny.
You're saying now because you don't like Tom Ho and you don't like
No. Check it though. It's funny that you got the owl. No, don't scroll away. You're saying Tehenu, but don't scroll away. Go back up to the top of it. And those look a little bit 2 different colors of those 2. But anyway, you got, to me, I'm telling you, I'm saying that's Meru. And on the bottom, you got Kawa or Kakao. Follow. No, you don't have to follow. Let the people.
I can. So this is Merhor, right, with the falcon, right? So over here, this is Ruah, right? Depending on how you pronounce it in this language.
Wait. I'm not talking about the kings. I'm not talking about the kings, Reggie. You're confusing things. I'm talking about inside the communities.
Inside the community, the houses.
No. You see that you see that owl there.
Yeah.
Maro, Kawa,
okay.
or Kau. Hold on. And then you got, I don't know what scorpions the king, his community, that's Saraku. I don't know what that is. But then you got Gem inside. I'm not sure who's above that Sarek or that village. And then you got Shema with the double falcon, Shema, who had Ma'at. And then above, I'm going to venture to guess and say that that's Amun Ra. And then to the left,
Not
you
at
got
this period.
Kepper. Then you got Kepper.
Not at this
Now I'm
period.
done.
Not at this.
Now I'm done.
Not at this period. And at best, these could be local gods within these towns. So it could be a major district, right? And then it could be local gods. But with that
The
said,
information is out there. Y'all do the knowledge, beat it up, see what you see. It's out there now.
Chris Withers, Shimsu, thanks for coming on. When you write a paper,
I'm not writing no papers. That's for you to write a book. If it pans out, that's for you to continue with your likes and clicks and follows. If it pans out, and whoever else.
look.
I don't want no followers. I'm not writing no book. I'm not online doing that. And that's what it is.
Well,
I'm just a
Christopher
scholar,
Withers,
novice scholar that loves the information.
Well, Christopher Withers, he does write. He does. He has a very high level of history. He knows the terms, and so I'm really interested in some of his ideas. And I'm certainly excited that he is going to write something, and I'm happy that he has some partial. He can see where I'm going with my Ayakimit.
Absolutely. Yeah, I see.
And so that's fine. So to everybody else, I put my cash app there. If you can buy me some lunch, breakfast, that'll be fine. And Christopher, I really appreciate you coming on, and Shezmo, and my good brother Jose. So with that said, I'm gonna stop sharing.
All right, I just want to say thank you, Reggie, and thank you, Chris, for your generous contributions and helping me out in the way that you do. So
no problem, bro.
I just want to say that to you.
That's what we're here for.
I appreciate that. But now, guess what I went and did? I went and committed myself to do a presentation on Atum and Kepper and how they are the same deity.
Who is?
The Atum and Kepper Ra are the same deity.
Atum and Kepper Ra
are the same deity.
They cannot be.
Now. Here is where
before we go
I'm
humbly call
a humble meeting with you guys to help, because I realized that I went on someone's platform and I said that, then I realized that I didn't do the chronology on exactly what I was saying. So I wasn't all the way right. I did do the chronology on when they were merged. They weren't always the same thing. They were merged that way. So I might have to put the back signal out to beg a little help with that. Because I did a little preliminary research and it's a bit more nuanced than I realized.
Thanks, Reggie. Always a pleasure. Love y'all, community. You know it.
All right. So I hope I was able to do. I'm pretty sure Smash is going to continue exactly what he was saying. I just wanted to add my point of view, and I was able to show Dookie Gel. I was put the Nubians in good light. Show some things about Nubia that you didn't know, and maybe Christopher can come on one day and talk about how they got to India, right? Which they did. That would be great. But in the meantime, I want to say good night, everybody. And my cash app is up.
All right, good night,
in
brother.
this Kush. I got you, Reggie.
Yeah. And some of the correlations between those two groups of people when they actually share. So with that said, I am going to leave. Good night. Thank you.